Hi, I'm Nikki Lewis and welcome to the guest list. Today's show is going to be a little bit different. I'm joined by my co-host, Susie Lamb from the Blossom Room. Welcome, Susie.
Thank you, great to be here.
First of all, Susie and I are going to have a little bit of a gossip session here on the couch. And then a little bit later, I'm going to be joined by Susie Williams from Edgewater Resort and Spa. So Susie, let's get down to some gossiping. Now we're going to talk a little bit about bridesmaids, because they can be a little bit of a handful, as well as being a great help. We're also going to be talking about how movies and Hollywood can also influence a couple and their decisions and the shape of their movies and the feel of their movies. Now, Bridesmaids. I'm actually quite a big fan of the Polly and Grant show. That's a radio station that plays in the morning.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Yes.
do you listen to it?
Absolutely.
Oh, good. Now, recently, a listener wrote in to Polly, and she's getting married. And she said that she's found these amazing bridesmaids dresses that she would like all her bridesmaids to wear. And they're obviously quite a particular style, and from what I am imagining, they're quite a slender style. And some of her bridesmaids are probably a little bit on the bigger side. So was it okay? Is it appropriate for her to ask her bridesmaids to go on a diet for the wedding?
No, you don't choose your bridesmaids. You choose them out of loyalty, love, friendship, to be there for your special day, and their size shouldn't be relevant. And you can find dresses these days that are fashioned to all shapes and sizes, and there's ways to go about it without turning around and go on the treadmill, love. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, that's very true. And that's very, very much what the listeners came back with. Another one that I found, also how to lose friends, because this does come up time and time again. Couples obviously get engaged, all great excitement. Brides rush off and say, will you be my bridesmaid? Will you be my bridesmaid? Will you be my bridesmaid? And everybody's all excited. So the answer is overwhelmingly yes, yes, yes. But then what happens is the bride then starts choosing bridesmaid's dress and shoes and hair and makeup and all sorts of things like that, and expects the bridesmaid to pay. It was one whacking great big bill.
The bride needs to have her budget sorted and say to her bridesmaids, this is how much I've got, let's try and work together, even if, let's spend more on the dress and less on the shoes, or etc., just working it out together. But no, it's got to be talked about, and you can't expect your bridesmaid to pay for absolutely everything, let alone obviously they're going to buy you a gift as well for your wedding. You sort of got to work it out, kind of, balance it out really, balance your books out and make sure that they can afford it. And so they're comfortable.
I'd love you to be a bridesmaid. However, I do need you to pay for all of this, and this is what it's going to cost.
And that's the perfect solution. You bring it right, to the forefront. It's like, if you can't afford it, that's fine. That's just life. Sometimes people are in a situation where they can't afford it. But putting it out there at the beginning is a great idea. Instead of just this is the dress I want you to be wearing, and you all have to pay this, and da da da. Or the other option is, the bride pays for everything, which would be nice, wouldn't it?
It would be lovely, yes. And then the bride gives the gift of the dress
Correct.
to the bridesmaid and all those sorts of things.
These days it is a lot easier in some respects that the internet has made it so much easier. I suppose that's another subject, another day, of lots and lots and lots of different options out there. And I think a lot of people too tend to race for off the rack, but there's still the options of actually getting a seamstress to make your dresses as well, and it's actually quite an economical option.
Yes,
and
it
I
can be.
don't think a lot of people still explore that option anymore.
That's very, very true. But it is a tricky one when it comes to bridesmaids.
Yes.
Now, with regards to Hollywood and movies and all those sorts of things, they do play a big part in influencing what couples kind of expect from a wedding. That's
Yes.
where we grow up. We see movies, we see weddings in movies, and we think that that's what the ideal wedding is going to look like.
It's totally sumptuous, it's glamorous, isn't it? They've got a movie budget though,
Absolutely.
You've got to dumb it down a wee bit.
Yeah, and the sets, and it gets, the takes after take after take, exactly, and there's props and all sorts of things that happen. So, but real life is what actually happens. So have a look at some of the real life happenings.
Then I saw her face. Now I'm a believer. Not a trace gave, the less I got.
Oh, good grief. Oh, well.
That is
Glad it's not
real
me.
life. That's real life.
Yes.
You know, and you can't account for all the things that just happen.
Yeah.
Because they happen.
They do happen. I
Now,
think-
there are a whole lot of unusual Hollywood couples that I thought we'd have a quick chat about.
Okay.
Isla Fisher, a lovely Australian actress.
Beautiful.
Probably seen her in Home and Away, Confessions of a Shopaholic, and also more recently in The Great Gatsby.
Yes, stunning girl.
She is married to Sacha Baron Cohen.
I know.
Who would have thought that?
I know.
Yeah. And
Odd.
Yeah, very odd. And they've
Yeah.
been married for a little while as well, which is quite unusual.
Yeah, obviously it works.
Another one, they've been married for ages, 21 years, is David E. Kelly. Now, he's created things like The Practice and Amy McBeal, which we've been obviously watching for years and years, is married to the very, very beautiful Michelle Pfeiffer.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So
Wow,
they're-
21 years.
21 years. So, which in
That's
Hollywood,
impressive.
I think in Hollywood terms, that's like forever and ever.
That's very never, yeah. Too expensive to divorce.
Probably.
Yeah.
Jason and I'm going to have to try and say this right. Jason Momoa. Now he's in the Game of Thrones. Now I know there's loads and loads of people that are massive Game of Thrones fans. He plays Khal Drogo, and he's married to Lisa Bonet. So people who are big Cosby fans. She was Denise Huxtable.
Yes.
So you probably remember.
Yes, I do.
I know.
I don't remember. I've never seen it.
So again, they're also a little bit of an odd couple. And another, probably a little bit more of a couple, and a bit of a throwback from our younger days too. Do you remember Dirty Dancing?
Absolutely.
Yes. And Jennifer Grey.
Yes.
Now, she doesn't look the same anymore because she's had loads of plastic surgery. So, yeah, like.
But she was quite beautiful. You know, she's that young, fresh sort of look.
Yeah, but she's had like massive amount of plastic surgery. But she's married to Clark Gregg, and he's played in massive amounts of sort of superhero movies, things like Iron Man and the Avengers and all that sort of thing. So,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How long have they been together?
Oh, quite a while, since 2001.
Ah.
So she's married a superhero.
Well, lucky lady.
Yeah, so there we go.
Pays for all the plastic surgery.
Yeah. Now, the kiss.
Yes.
There's a lot of pressure with that kiss. You may
Yes.
now kiss your bride. Now, do people go full on? Is it just a quick peck? What do you think?
I think there's nothing more nauseating than almost they keep going and it's like, leave it for later. And there's something more, is even odder when they just sort of do a quick, and they should have just almost high-fived and shook hands or something, you know, like it should be there's this timing, you know, a sort of this length of, yes, we're married and that's lovely and we'll save it for later kind of thing, you know, but yeah, not, and think about your makeup getting mushed and stuff. So yeah, just keep it clean and tidy and civil would be my advice.
Couples should probably practice it beforehand, you
Yeah,
reckon?
totally,
Yeah.
absolutely, you should. Actually. Well, yeah, in the mock-up when you know, the day before when you're
You do
doing
your rehearsal and
so,
stuff.
yeah.
And you probably should practice it at home. Like, all right, honey, how are
Yeah.
we going to do this? Because
Yeah.
let's do a little bit of practicing
Yeah.
beforehand.
Exactly, you never know where it can lead, you know?
Yeah, but that might be
yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah. Rewind.
Oh, that's brilliant. Susie, I want to thank you so much for coming and having a good old gossip session here on the couch with me today.
Awesome, thank you for having me, it's been lots of fun.
And if our viewers would like to get hold of you, because I'm sure they're going to be in their throes of their planning with regards to their weddings, what's the best way to get hold of you?
Definitely by email, and it's info@theblossomroom.co.nz.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now, after the break, I'm going to be chatting to Susie Williams from Edgewater Resort and Spa. I'll see you after the break.
The guest list is made possible with support from wedding champions who make your magic day possible. People like Edgewater Resort in Rarotonga, the perfect spot for all your family and friends to celebrate. And what a place to have that honeymoon. Thinking weddings and honeymoon, think Edgewater Resort, Rarotonga. And speaking of dream holidays or a wedding overseas, talk to travel managers. Right throughout New Zealand, they can process all your travel needs. That idyllic honeymoon is just moments away. Call one of their specialists, Anita Gatley Travel. Specialising in everything wedding, give Anita a call on 09 845 2150. 09845 2150.
Hi, welcome back to the guest list. I'm now joined by Susie Williams from Edgewater Resort and Spa. Welcome, Susie.
Thank you, Nikki. Good to be here today.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Now we're going to hear all about Edgewater, and I'm so excited about this place. It is beautiful.
Absolutely. Edgewater Resort and Spa is in the beautiful Cook Islands in Rarotonga, which is the main island in the Cooks. So it's nice and easy to get to. It's a wonderful resort and it's immensely popular for weddings.
Now you said it's easy to get to from, okay, I live in Auckland. How do I get there?
So Nikki, for you, it's a 4-hour flight roughly from Auckland to Rarotonga, and then the hotel is only 10 minutes away from the airport. So nice and easy to get to. You're basically there within 5 hours of leaving Auckland.
Oh, brilliant.
And the other nice thing, Nikki, is that the resort faces out to the west, which of course gives us our beautiful sunsets. So it's on the western side of the island.
Oh, that must be beautiful. Oh, I want to pack my bags now.
Come on, let's go.
Oh, brilliant. Now, obviously we talk a lot about weddings, so Edgewater is a great place to get married.
Absolutely. I think there's many reasons why Edgewater is so good for weddings. Firstly, it's New Zealand currency in the Cook Islands, so there's no worry about having to change your New Zealand dollars into another currency. And we are well established in the weddings market. Weddings are a very important part of how we operate our hotel. We do about 130 weddings every year, and we never ever have 2 weddings on the same day.
That's good.
Well, that makes it that bride's special day. It's not as if you're in a queue with 2 or 3 other people. Wedding parties sharing your day, so we have 1 day per wedding.
Do you have a dedicated wedding planner then?
Yes, we do. We have a fabulous lady called Heather, and she's usually the first point of contact at the hotel. So she's the lady who you're dealing with when you're making your arrangements with the hotel, and then when you arrive at Edgewater or at the airport, there's Heather, and she will take you through the whole process.
That must make people feel so calm and relaxed.
Totally, absolutely. And Edgewater Resort is a very relaxed place for a holiday, for a wedding, for a honeymoon. We've got fabulous Cook Island staff there. It's like a family.
Oh, that's brilliant. So what are the sort of the points of difference that Edgewater has? Because obviously there are lots of resorts all through the islands, not just in the Cook Islands, but what are your big points of difference?
I think what we have is a wonderful value for money resort. So your wedding cost-wise will be quite effectively priced compared with getting married in New Zealand. It's good value for money. Our resort is actually the biggest in the Cooks, Nikki. We have a fantastic range of accommodation. We've got some very economically priced garden rooms, which are set in the garden, and then we've got beautiful beachfront deluxe rooms which face out to sea. You can sit on the deck there, watch the sunset, and then we have excellent family villas. Now our villas are 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, so if your wedding party includes children, then these are fabulous for families, and also extremely good for the bride and her bridesmaids, or the bride and her family, or friends of the bride and groom who are happy to share a house together. So it's an absolute house with a full kitchen. The master bedroom even has a walk-in wardrobe, fabulous for the bride's wedding dress to be stored. So it just caters right across the board for anybody who's on a budget, or anybody who does have a few dollars to spend to spoil themselves.
I like the idea of having the kids there as well. I've got a young son, so it is important for me that wherever I go that my child is catered for. So Edgewater has that sort of facility?
Absolutely, and I think that children, it's nice if they are part of a wedding, and having your wedding offshore means that you can take families, because I feel that a wedding is a merging of 2 families and 2 sets of friends. So those sets of friends and families can have some good times, good memories in the days preceding and the days after the wedding.
Now I know that a lot of couples, sitting here in New Zealand, they're watching the show, they're listening to us talk, but they're probably still going to have a few concerns about how hard it's going to be to plan an island wedding. They're going to have concerns about the challenges. They might not have ever been to the Cook Islands. How hard is it going to be for them to plan a wedding over there?
I think probably any wedding, no matter which wedding you're organising, is always going to be a challenge. And even if you're getting married in the local reception rooms, you're likely to have dramas. You're likely to be faced with some problems. The reception area might change hands. You just never know. So I feel that the challenges that you have offshore would be very similar to the ones that you could have in New Zealand. We've got a fabulous support team at the resort who are very dedicated to making sure that weddings flow easily, flow really well, and everybody is happy.
What's the time difference between here and the Cook Islands?
The Cook Islands are a day behind New Zealand.
Right, okay.
So there is an hour's or so's time difference, but they're a day behind. So in the Cook Islands now it is Wednesday.
Right. Okay. So even though people wanted to get hold of Heather, the wedding planner, they would just be talking to her yesterday, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So Heather will respond on email. She may talk to you on the phone. She has other people to assist her, so the whole burden isn't entirely on Heather, but Heather's the one who heads it up. The management above Heather are also extremely supportive of her to make sure that these weddings do turn out in the best interests of the bride and groom, that the experience is a very positive one, because we want to have more weddings.
Fantastic. Yeah, you're in the business of staying in business.
Absolutely.
So you want to give your clients the best possible experience.
Absolutely. We can't afford for any hiccups. We have a very good reputation on the Cook Islands, so we organise the wedding certificate. The couple do need to be there 3 working days before their wedding.
That's
to
important piece of
sort the
information.
legal side of things. So we take a charge of all of that. And then the beauty of it is that it's warm, so your guests don't have to worry about thinking, oh, I wonder if it's going to be cold on that day or not. Do I need to rug up, or can I dress for a warmer climate? Your guests and your bride know that the weather's going to be warm, so that, I think, takes a little bit of stress away from planning a wedding.
What about the other kind of suppliers, like photographers and cakes and flowers and all those sorts of things?
We're the one-stop shop, Nikki. We organise all of that. We have selection of cakes, we have a great photographer, we do the videos, we do the whole thing. The flowers, the bride's hair, whatever you need, basically, we can organise.
And what sort of size of wedding party generally happens? Is it sort of just a couple with a few friends, or can it be quite large?
It can be just the bride and groom, Nikki, because sometimes we've had people who've actually decided while they're on holiday that they're going to get married.
Right.
So then we organise the witnesses.
Yeah.
So it can be just 2 people through to anything up to about 200.
Wow.
Currently probably 150, 160, but the average size would be 30 to 40.
Nice.
Good size.
Nice and intimate.
Absolutely.
Really great. Awesome. Now, a lot of people go to Edgewater and they're not actually going to get married. They go there to have a honeymoon.
Beautiful. Absolutely. As I say, if I was going there for a honeymoon, I would be in one of those deluxe beachfront rooms, sitting watching the sunset.
Cocktail.
Absolutely. The layout of the room is delightful, and the bathrooms all have a full spa bath in them, in every one of those rooms. So that's a really nice thing to do. Bottle of champagne in the spa bath. I won't go any further.
Sounds absolutely fantastic.
It is.
Now, how do couples get hold of the resort if they want to book? Because from what I've heard, a lot of people would actually want to book.
Okay, if you Google Edgewater Resort and Spa, you're going to come up with the answer. So there's a lot of information on our website. Travel agents throughout New Zealand are very, very familiar with the Edgewater. We have a lot of support from the trade.
When it comes to the reception time, what styles of meals are available to the couples with regards to dinner?
Okay, Nikki, we can do pretty much anything, and it often depends on the budget of the bride and groom. So we can do absolutely fabulous canapes and a drink spa. We can do an open bar, if that's what their budget allows, right through to a full sit-down, normal, full catered meal of many courses. So basically it often just boils down to the budget of the bride and groom. But the food is delicious. The tuna is amazing, the canapes are beautiful, and the cocktails are absolutely to die for.
Oh, yum, I can just imagine. So if they wanted to go for a plated meal of several courses, they could have that as an option, or they could do a buffet style dinner.
Absolutely, absolutely, and anything fairly much in between. So we can, we have a wonderful weddings book. There's a lot of information on the website, pricing and things like that. And if you stay at Edgewater for 7 nights in a deluxe beachfront hotel room and pay for the 7 nights to stay there, then we will give you a basic wedding package at no cost.
Wow.
So yeah, we have all sorts of little incentives that sort of chip in depending on the number of guests and how long you're staying and things like that. So we just try and make it so easy for families to have more than a wedding. It becomes an event. It becomes an event over many days often, and then the wedding is the climax.
That sounds fantastic.
It certainly is.
And I am assuming that most couples, they will have their wedding, that, as you mentioned, they have to be there for 3 working days prior
Correct.
to get the legal side of things sorted out. But after the wedding, then they stay on for their honeymoon?
Absolutely. Certainly they do. Many will stay on at the Edgewater for the honeymoon, and some will fly out to Aitutaki, which is one of our other beautiful islands. So they may leave the guests at the Edgewater to recover from the wonderful wedding, and they may fly out to Aitutaki, spend a few days out there and then fly back. And basically I just feel that really the Cook Islands and Edgewater can deliver an amazing wedding and honeymoon experience. One interesting thing, Nikki, that's happening with weddings at the moment is that some of them are being booked in quite quickly, and others are spread right out, pre-planning right up to 2017.
Wow.
We have some weddings booked that far in advance. So some people are clearly very organised, and for others it's the spur of the moment. We're here now, let's get married. And I do know that some people have actually met each other at Edgewater and then made the commitment to go back and get married, which I think is absolutely fabulous.
That's cool.
We have a lot of people who've stayed at Edgewater. It's their regular annual holidays, so some people have stayed there 10, 12 times. They've been there as children, and it's nice to go back to a place that you've fallen in love with, that's been part of your life, so you go back there for your wedding, which I think is really special. And of course, some weddings, you know, the bride and groom end up in the sea, so there's all sorts of wonderful photos, fabulous images running along the beach. So it's casual weddings, they're fun weddings, they're memorable weddings.
I can imagine the photos are just
Oh,
fantastic.
the photos are sensational. We have a wonderful Facebook weddings page, so if you're thinking of getting married, it's a good idea to do a wee like on that page, and then you can share some of the other ideas with not only our staff but also other brides who are planning on getting married at Edgewater. So we truly are a family in the sense of the way the hotels run, and our guests who keep coming back and back again do tend to think of the staff and other guests as being part of a big family.
Fantastic. Now, how do couples get hold of the resort if they want to book? Because from what I've heard, a lot of people would actually want to book.
Okay, if you Google Edgewater Resort and Spa, you're going to come up with the answer. So there's a lot of information on our website. Travel agents throughout New Zealand are very, very familiar with the Edgewater. We have a lot of support from the trade.
I can't wait to get myself over to Edgewater. It sounds absolutely amazing.
We would certainly love to have you stay with us, Nikki.
Thank you so
Wedding
much.
or otherwise. Thank you.
The guest list is made possible with support from wedding champions who make your magic day possible. People like Edgewater Resort in Rarotonga, the perfect spot for all your family and friends to celebrate. And what a place to have that honeymoon. Thinking weddings and honeymoon, think Edgewater Resort, Rarotonga. And speaking of dream holidays or a wedding overseas, talk to travel managers. Right throughout New Zealand, they can process all your travel needs. That idyllic honeymoon is just moments away. Call one of their specialists, Anita Gatley Travel. Specialising in everything wedding, give Anita a call on 09 845 2150. 09 845 2150.
So I've been chatting to Susie Williams from Edgewater, and I do recommend that you hop onto the website and go and check it out. It's absolutely amazing. Now, early on, I was talking to Susie. We were having our good old gossip session on the couch, and we were talking everything to do with movies and how movies and Hollywood have definitely influenced our weddings. And without a doubt, go ahead and steal ideas from all the movies that you've seen. But my tip of the week is steal them, but make them your own. So whatever it is that you have gone and borrowed, recreate it so that it reflects you as a couple. So whether it is the first dance song or cutting of the cake or even walking down the aisle, like how Susie and I were talking about having mum and dad walk you down the aisle, make it your own, make it personal, make it unique to the two of you. I'm Nikki Lewis. This has been The Guest List. I hope you've enjoyed the show, and I'll see you next week.